say for me, I had no issue with Faith Odhiambo being in that compensation committee, but I also didn't see it as something that could elicit such, massive public uproar, backlash, and criticism until, the other day when I think there's a directive from one of the is it the judiciary service or another body that's probably adjacent to LSK, and they were saying it's really unfair that, Faith Odhiambo is part of that, wicked, committee of compensating victims of police brutality who were hurt last year and also this year in the protests and also during Sabasaba, because for a very long time, Faith Odhiambo, the president of the Law Society of Kenya, has been standing on business. She's been a frontliner in terms of defending the rights of, the oppressed and issuing those court orders that have been barring the government from, using brute force against innocent protesters. Faith Odhiambo was the avant-garde leader of that. So for me, I believe the reason why Faith Odhiambo just overnight turned out to be a pariah is because there's the issue of the trust deficit between the government and the citizens, the normal citizens. And this is because of these atrocities that have been committed by the government when they've been in office. And yet, if you were to compare the temperature and the spirit right now in the country and contrast it to 2023, 2024, and early in the beginning of this year, you wouldn't have believed that, this would have happened. So I think the reason why Faith, a lot of people are criticizing and rolling their eyes against you is that they believe anyone who becomes complacent with the government is a traitor, and they've betrayed them because there's so many injustices that have been rubbed under the rug and forgotten, and especially when it came to the shootings during the protest, there are unceremonious arrests and just people disappearing, especially those that were vocal during the finance bill, even before that and then after, and then the forced arrests and disappearances. I think that's what literally has annoyed Kenyans, and it's difficult. I know Faith Odhiambo, from her hearts of hearts, she's doing it from a place of, good intentions, but the good intentions sometimes never win, Faith. And one thing that I can tell you for free, guys, and you might not agree with me, is that the president will always win because you voted him in office, and he'll always be vindicated because you guys wanted him in. So if you wanted him in, you cannot just out of the blue all of a sudden have a second thought and want him out instantly. It has to be a process. The same process that you wanted him in will be the same process that you will use to want him out. So I think that is the paradox. But I understand, President William Ruto is surrounded by the church. He's invested in churches. Mr. William Ruto, our president, our dear president, has invested a lot in churches. And churches are altars. And spiritually, when you come to understand about altars, is that, altars will always, fight for you. They always defend you on your behalf. So he'll be vindicated. And, I heard, was it Kalonzo Musyoka who said, the president will soon meet US President Donald Trump. And of course, the issue about human rights will be cropping up in the conversation on the table. And I love Donald Trump. I love his personality. I love the shock jock mentality kind of a personality. Like they say it like you mean it person that he is. And I know the question could crop up or it might not. But yeah, the president, just to have a clean slate, there must have been a move to just at least, compensate victims of police brutality. Anyways, I was the first one to come up with the police brutality and compensation bill. I did it, I think, in June, and I've seen they've implemented it. So shout out at least something. And it was actually shared with Ket Actress, Aziad, Kwambox, Wanjiku Stephens. I did a video on TikTok, on Instagram, and even on YouTube in June about the police brutality compensation bill, and I'm glad to see that it's being taken into account, and that's just impressive. So I think Faith Odhiambo, she's only 38 years old. She's an alumni of University of Nairobi. Don't succumb to the pressure. If you're doing it from a place of good intentions and you feel like you want to continue the process, go with it. But if you feel like there's a part of you that is battling, because I can only imagine, the guilt, the kind of guilt she's feeling right now. I think Faith Odhiambo right now is caught between a rock and a hard place, and she feels like her reputation is going to be soiled by this move. But you know what, Faith, you're doing it for your country, and God knows your heart, but the people might not see it. So if you don't feel like you don't want to stay in the process, please, remove yourself, because sometimes tough and difficult choices and decisions have to be made, not just for the sake of you, but for the sake of the people that you serve as a leader. But if you want to continue, we wish you the very best. Personally, for me, I'm vouching and rooting for you, and I can only wish you the best of luck in everything that you do, because you've been standing on business and continue standing on business, because this is about for country and for people, not for Ruto and for Faith. So it's not about the president or Faith Odhiambo. It's about the citizens of this country. So